Hey guys, this is Ash, and this is another one of the Ash rants. But the difference this time is, you can see me. An odd fact, yes. And I am incredibly ugly, but you will have to live with that, because this is a lot easier than sequencing images, which drives me insane. It is incredibly hot here, hence why I look shinier than the most shiny thing in the universe ever. I am like a sun. Yeah. Today I intend to address one of my pet peeves, JRPGs. Right there I just lost most of my subscriber base, and there's a horde of angry fangirls at my door trying to burn me. I haven't even posted this yet, but they're telekinetic or something. But my problem is the very fact that they are a subgenre, JRPG. They've got so much in common with each other, it's not even funny. There are far more similarities between JRPGs than there are in any other kind of field of games. Why, RPGs that come from Japan have to all follow these, the sacred scriptures set down by Final Fantasy is beyond me. But they all seem to do it, and it drives me insane. For example, your androgynous protagonist. I know it's a cliche, but it happens, and it's true, that every single JRPG has to have this weird, whiny, protagonist, and the antagonist's never much better. I mean, you got Sephiroth, but he looks like a woman. Not that I've got anything wrong with, sexually ambiguous people. It's the fact that you can go into any JRPG and expect the protagonist to be the same, kind of basic archetype. And you can say that for absolutely any character. You've got the weak summoner who always needs help. You've got the, strong, mysterious guy. And undoubtedly in the description, if I don't have to upload this a million times, I will outline this and give examples. Aaron from Final Fantasy X would be one of them. The only cool character in that game, actually. But still, it was a terrible game. Another point would be, why the hell are we always playing high school students? Or people around that age, and they always sexualize them. And that just, if someone did that, from here, someone developed a game from here, said, this is a 13-year-old girl, and you can pick up a piece of armor that makes her wear a bikini. That's disturbing. Persona, by the way, I've been playing the portable version of that, Persona 3, and I picked up that suit and I facepalmed so hard. The game itself isn't too bad, mostly because it's almost Pokemon, but not. But, seriously, that should be illegal. In all fairness, because it's sick. For lack of anything else to call it, it's incredibly sick. Call it culture shock or whatever you want to, but it's still, disturbing at the very least. So you got the constantly archetypal characters, sexualization of these incredibly young protagonists for some reason. Nobody actually knows why. And I know these games are anime based, but the art style are always so similar. It's painful. They never do anything interesting within the bounds of anime, which just makes me want to strangle a duck. Obviously, most of these problems are directed towards the Final Fantasy series, the big JRPG that makes me want to kill babies. But, it does apply to almost every... There are a few exceptions, mind you. You've got your Pokemons and your Personas, which are, in their own right, pretty decent games. But the core gameplay, even if you just take it on gameplay points, actually, that's where it's weakest. You've got your generic turn-based battle system, which makes me just so sad because it's so basic. You got your weaknesses, you got your magics, you got your summoners, you got your... Christ. You think that, you know, even just taking into account the Final Fantasy series here, that they'd switch it up by now. I mean, they have technically in Final Fantasy 13, but everyone likes to forget about that because it's terrible. So you've got these gameplay threads that run through all of them, and they're all bad, in all fairness. Because you've got a turn-based combat system, which... Come on, we've all got tired of after Final Fantasy 3 or something. You've got... one of my other problems is character development. There is none. At all. I think the only game I've seen with character development in a JRPG, excluding the Pokemons and games that want to be Pokemon, you've got the, I think it was Final Fantasy possibly 4, possibly 5, the one with the job system. That was actually reasonably cool and kind of clever, because you've got, you know, training them up in different classes and stuff. The story was terrible. The characters were likeable, to a degree. But, yeah, this is not a review of Final Fantasy 4, 5, possibly. But, you know, you get my point. There isn't even a Diablo-like skill tree. I mean, the last thing we saw of that was Final Fantasy X, the attempt. And that was painful. The grid system, which, once again, makes me want to kill babies. But you've got very, very little innovation overall over the whole period these games have been around. And, but, yeah, and then you've got the grinding! Don't get me started on grinding. Please, don't get me started on grinding. There is a whole genre of games based around this idea of farming for XPs. The MMO. Don't get me started on MMOs, I could have another rant about them and how they are mind-blowingly stupid. But, at least MMOs have good character progression. You've got more of a motive to grind, rather than seeing a little ding and getting a few points in some invisible stats. I know I'm kind of missing the point here, because most of these JRPGs are based around the story, but that's A, shouldn't be the only selling point for a game, and B, they're not that good anyway, because they're always generic, they're always painfully similar, and I have played enough JRPGs to kind of come to these conclusions. I played the Golden Sun series, the Final Fantasy series, or at least I've touched on them before I realised they're all the same and made me want to stab babies. And they should just be avoided, really. And they should learn to really try and be a bit more innovative in their own fields. And they just don't, and it makes me sad. Obviously, the few exceptions, the Persona series, what they did with the social links and stuff. Undoubtedly, I'm going to do a review of Persona 3 because it deserves it, because it's both brilliant and terrible at the same time. Don't even. And funny enough, Pokemon, that's actually quite fun in its own right. But once again, they're both so based around grinding as their key concept that I really don't. They make me sad. Why grinding? Why can't you just pace your game well, so we don't spend 100 years fighting the same goddamn enemy because you wanted to say you've got a game that lasts 30 hours? It makes me sad. Anyway, this is probably around the lines of what I'm going to continue doing. Just rant at a camera. Possibly not a camera. I've got a Supreme Commander review coming up relatively soon. As soon as I can get a recorded game. Basically, the idea there is, I'll play a game, then I'll record audio over it, because I cannot speak while playing a decent RTS, because I can't multitask to save my life. It makes me sad. And that will be followed by a comparison of Supreme Commander 2. Both games that I love, both games I love for very different reasons, and both games I hate for very different reasons again. But yeah, definitely get those uploaded. We'll see how this one comes out and see what kind of reaction you should have. And we might do more of this, but we probably won't because I'm terrifying in person. But we'll see.